We are looking at Hulk 324, Incredible Hulk 324 by Al Milburn. The issue wherein Hulk goes grey. The cover is a homage to Hulk #1 from 1962. You don't need me to show that, I assume. Hulk's transformation here is the main development from this in-between run on the title. It is the one thing everyone knows happens in this run. And I really like our first page, the art here, with David Banner. I pointed out a few bits in the last few issues where Al Milburn seemed to be consciously trying to look like Jason Bourne. But this page, and then its companion here with Hulk, they feel like they are trying to ape the sort of thing Buscema was doing on Hulk about 30 issues ago. Long story short, Hulk was defeated and captured, and now we have both David Banner and Hulk back together through nonsensical means. In that regard, they do a better job at explaining what was going on with last issue, the bits with the Vision. It still doesn't make any sense, but they think that it does make sense. This issue here is pretty boring, not a big fan of it. For starters, there's Doc Shanna. Doc Shanna is allowed to go about his business and retry experiments that went so wrong the first time around. And people are still listening to him like he knows what he's talking about. But we also have intolerable amounts of characters explaining all the guilt that they feel. We have Dickie Jones and Jennifer Connelly and Liv Tyler as well. It reads like a list, not characters talking. We have Harrison Ford. We keep it a bit mysterious what the plan is with him and SHIELD. We have been slowly setting up this subplot over the past couple of issues, but we still don't know where it is going. And that is not helping matters with this issue. I really needed something to go on. The problem is there doesn't seem to be any story left to latch onto. I am sick of Doc Shanna by this point. Utterly sick. I said he was boring before I read these runs. But we're at the point where he has not only overstayed his welcome, but he is dragging the world down with the stupidity of people bending over backwards to allow him to again try to fix Hulk. I have no investment in the relationship between Banner and Connolly/Tyler. They were rushed into a marriage, and she has been more insufferable than Doc Shanna over the last few issues. With Hulk, with most stuff actually, we are straight back where we were in issue 315, and that is not admirable. That we have spent 9 issues getting back to the same point we were at originally. We have Hulk transforming back and forth between Hulk and Banner in quick succession, and these instant, short transformations, they are said to be a new thing. And then Doc Shanna exclaims, "This is something I had not foreseen." This is what happens when you put Mr. I was wrong about everything back in charge of the same project he was wrong about everything with. And then Hulk predictably breaks loose, and we start having this eerie body horror with David Banner trapped in his chest. He's like bursting out of Hulk's chest, begging them to kill him. I would have been saying this is effective and terrifying, but it has been ruined for me, this idea. I had an epiphany when thinking about this though, so here's what I'll do. That run exists, whatever. There is an earlier 2000s run by Richard Jenkins, which did that better, and even that is only just alright. And as Dickie Jones points out in this issue, something similar happened in the Silver Age, with Hulk having Banner's head. It is a shame that the body horror aspect has been undermined by a comic I hate. I do recognise this as the most thrilling part of this issue. We have this mutation, and that by itself is the first step towards bringing something exciting to the issue. But it didn't work for me because it only brought to mind crap Hulk comics that have came out since. Let's focus on some other stuff. There is Agent Quarter Pounder's famous grin, and Harrison Ford starts doing stuff. I didn't like that the earlier scene with him felt like stolen for time. It didn't tell us anything about what was going on with his subplot, and by the end of this issue, we still don't know what was going on with that subplot. But stuff starts happening now. Harrison Ford is taking it upon himself to kill Banner because everyone else is refusing to. The SHIELD agents try to lure Hulk to the nutrient bath. Another gruesome bit of imagery with Banner emerging from Hulk's back. And the hope is that the nutrient bath can cure all problems. It worked out so well the first time after all. And then Harrison Ford, he tries to take the opportunity to deal with Banner, and Dickie Jones stops him. Dickie Jones fights him, and it is unacceptably unclear, but Harrison Ford knocks Dickie Jones over the railing into the nutrient bath. We don't see that. We do see it in the 90s animated series, which did a decently faithful adaptation of this. Most the same beats here. And I have mentioned the animated series in some of Jason Byrne's issues, like the wedding one, but the mentions of it will only increase because, for whatever reason, Al Milburn's run on Incredible Hulk seems to be the blueprint they were given, the Bible, at least for the first season. From the nutrient bath comes a new Hulk, or an odd Hulk. We have the return of his grey-skinned appearance. This is a big change for Hulk, and it will last a while, but we don't see much of it this issue. It ends on the next page, and we have a few little clues here when Dickie Jones reappears, and you can see that he is soaked too. We have reached the next stage of Hulk. Grey Hulk will be our main Hulk for at least 50 or so issues for the first half of David Peters' run. Next issue, confusingly, has Green Hulk on the cover, but it's something else. After this, we have the annual, and the annual slots in here quite cleanly. I will look at that next, but know that it was, at the time it came out, the annual was criticised for completely spoiling and even mischaracterising the new Grey Hulk. I'll mention it all again when I review that. If last issue felt like wrapping up a plot line, this one feels like waiting around for a new plot. I think really the last two issues should have been condensed into one. When stuff started happening in this, it was the best part of both the issues. But it took a while to get there. And then it leaves us without any clarity for what this new transformation really means. So I didn't like this issue much. One of the more intriguing bits was ruined, for me, by another Hulk run, but I won't hold that against this. It hampered my enjoyment, but I know for most people that would be a non-issue for them. I would still say a good chunk of this comic is either dull or actually lacking a plot. The greatest thing I could say about this issue is that it officially moves us away from the Jason Byrne run. We are now in new territory. So for that, I will give it a 7 thumbs up score.